I first met Tu performing with his grandmother at Intermedia Arts many, many years ago, probably one of the first performances that they did together. And to this day, I consider that moment one of the historic moments in local theater or performance art. Having the two of them on the stage with Tu doing his spoken word and G Dog doing her chant, and then culminating in the two of them wearing the sunglasses was so metaphoric. I think that it really spoke non-verbally to the transition and the metamorphosis of refugee generations and of immigrants in general too, of how we pass on our traditions, our oral traditions. And the image of G-Dog with her sunglasses as she's crowned by her Hmong headdress and her Hmong outfit said it all. I will always remember that. It was a very moving moment for me, very inspiring, and we will miss her so much because she did transform performance art in the Twin Cities because of that one act. Rest in peace, and you are always with us.
Hello everyone, this is Chili Lore. Thank you to Psych for letting me have a chance to speak and share a piece for Grandma Youa Chang. The piece that I'd like to share with everyone today is a Gutsia song called Ziling Tu, and it is inspired by fresh traditions. In my lifetime, I had the privilege to be able to meet Grandma through Tu Psych, and I had the pleasure to take her home a few times. Tu Psych would be like, "Could you take my grandma home?" And I'm like, "Sure, Tu Psych." Not only do I enjoy talking to elders, but I especially like spending time with Grandma because talking to her really reminds me of my grandma, and I see her as my own grandma. In fact, the Gutsia that was taught to me, which I'm about to share, is written by my grandma and passed down to my mom, who taught it to me. And so, with this song, I like to remember my grandma who passed away last year, but also to remember Grandma Youa Chang. Because of her, I was inspired to go back to my Hmong roots and explore traditional Hmong art like Gutsia and making it accessible to our future generations. Ni kya kyua tua kyua chua e yua chua ta e kim long hyong long long no tua mu pu to e lúa linh tu bao tiêu lưu nhiều đã chia chi yua ye chi cho là đã cứ nia linh sai nó chi mùa chiến đơ linh nia linh chi mùa cứ nó Kya kyua tua kyua chua e yua chua ta e kim long hyong long long no tua mo pu ha e lúa linh tu 啦达姑娘铃，在那寂寞间的铃呀铃，寂寞可那寂泪独
I feel like how can we find ways to reconnect back to our culture?
He turned to his grandmother, Youa Chang, who still practices kutia, an ancient Hmong form of poem chanting.
I approached my grandmother to perform with me and collaborate. So we did this thing called Fresh Traditions, and it's she's doing kutia and I'm doing spoken word, and we're kind of going back and forth. Generation after generation, we've been warned by our elders, lost in what is. I really wanted to make an effort to preserve it, and I know that like it's tough to just engage the younger generation in such an art form that seems like something that's only elders do. And but then I know that they're really into hip hop, so I wanted to fuse it somehow, some way. I collaborate with my grandmother. We're called Fresh Traditions. She does the traditional Hmong art form of poetry chanting called kutia. Her generation didn't have the opportunity to go to school. She was a farmer all her life. To learn her kutia, her poetry, she had to listen to it. She listened to these poems that were 5 to 10 minutes, memorizes stanza by stanza, because it was this oral tradition that's passed on from generation to generation. I was fascinated by that. How could she memorize these poems? Because I'm used to like writing it down first and reading it and memorizing. Growing up, when I saw the OGs do it, what I mean by OGs is the older generation do it, I didn't feel connected to it. When I got a little older, I was like, yeah, I do spoken word, hip hop, and I'm speaking my poems. And my grandma's just speaking her poems too, except she's just doing it from her generation and her style. The poems are passed on to her. She kind of flips it. There's an older style before her, and she makes it fresh for her generation too. So she doesn't exactly replicate what was taught to her. She puts her own twist onto it. The other part of kutia is the freestyle aspect of it. So she freestyles her poetry too. So I was like, whoa, my grandma's an MC of her generation. She wears the shades, the sunglasses on stage, and she's real tight. She's just a superstar. Yeah.
This is our vision together through generations, us building bridges.
This is something that's important that she has. She's very talented, and a lot of the elders have these talents that don't get recognized.
This is for our future. This is for our survival of our culture. This is our vision. This is us, Fresh Traditions.
And then also for elders that might not understand what I do through hip hop and spoken word, they can see that I'm collaborating with my grandmother, and so they might not have all these like stereotypes or misconceptions. She accepts what I do as something that's an evolution of what she does too. Started to approve it more. And then as far as my grandmother goes, my grandmother freestyles. So she's already down with hip hop before hip hop started. She's been, she does good oral storytelling.
She's an OG.
Yeah, yeah. Generation after generation after generation.
Kutsia is a form of Hmong poetry and storytelling that's been passed down over the years. To bring awareness to the art form, Tu Sai Kao Lee and his grandmother, Youa Chang, performed together and even formed their own group, Fresh Traditions.
collaborating with me shows that elders can embrace hip hop, or it's not a thing where it's like, oh, it's whatever, it's this negative thing that the youth do, but rather than it's something that actually has some value in it that has a connection to Gutsia. So it works both ways. So it is truly a bridge of generations.
And so this Gutsia has been passed on for many generations. So she's going to perform it today for you.
Ya song no a mi san go sai hong go sai de ti la to lo tu tu ma sho nya mo za da lo shou guo rao bo zha zu duo zhuo chu ai bei du du mao lai zhang du zhi zi da yo mu li shuo nu shuo zhi du lai ga rong cai dou lu rong nu zai hao sai zhu luo 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 tu tu ma shuo nya mo zi da lo shou guo rao jian cai you rong da lu la sai.
Yep, good. You can clap now. Zhongke, zhongke.
Oh, Pato, pato, pato. Pato ma. Pato lah. Papu ah. Papu ah. Oh, cucu. Belum meme. Belum meme. Wah. Yo me pato. Ya. Ya. Oyo. Oke. Oyo. Oyo. Paulo. Paulo. Ngalo. Khâu. Oh. Oh. Này là bỏ từ lợ. Này bỏ từ lợ. Này bỏ từ lợ từ lợ. Là nó này. Bỏ từ lợ từ. Bỏ từ lợ từ.